Good. Welcome everybody.
What's
Ahsoka
going on?
Wednesday.
It's a
It's nice
special
having Star
Wednesday.
Wars. Yeah, sorry, Tuesday. Where am I? Where's my head? That's
Yeah,
the old
sorry.
Disney release schedule.
Well, I mean,
Um,
you got a big week and a big weekend coming up.
it's nice. It's nice being able to distract myself from Friday's upcoming events.
Yeah, it's kind of a big day. What's going on again?
Getting married finally.
You are indeed getting married, and for some reason, for anybody watching, these two individuals decided that I should MC their wedding. I'm not sure if that is a really good idea or a really poor idea. The good news is that I have one under my belt, so I'm pretty much an expert now.
Yeah. To be honest, there wasn't really much competition, so we were just kind of taking what we could get.
Wow, you're such an asshole. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. But we have a new episode of Ahsoka, a shorter episode, a fairly fast-paced episode. Interesting to get your thoughts on this one, because for me, it was kind of the tale of two halves. I was really into it in the first half, and then felt like I was let down in the second. So I'll just not going to let you know my feelings right up front. But yeah, let's start right from the get-go. I think we have an Admiral Akbar cameo. Didn't say anything, but he's sitting there alive and well.
Yeah.
We also get, Mon Mothma again, she's doing the political thing, but we get a C-3PO cameo as well.
Best. I was
coming in
so
to save
excited
the day.
To have a little 3PO cameo in there. Like,
yeah.
It's so weird because if you think about the excitement that a vast majority of the fan base gets, what causes the most energy and the most engagement have literally been droids for the last 30 years. Like, if you think about all the things that people talk about how much they love in Star Wars, like 3PO, R2, Chopper, like a lot of them, right? I mean, it's so good. Hui Yang is becoming such a favorite of mine.
Yeah, I have some notes on him. Did you think it was odd on how excited everyone was to see 3PO? I know the audience probably was, but Mon Mothma was overjoyed, and obviously Hera, because she knew she was probably getting off the hook. Yeah, it's almost like they were reflecting what they thought the audience was going to feel. But yeah, Leia's still up on her rebel bullshit, so she basically saves Hera, says she was the one who sanctioned everything. So good to see she's up to her old ways.
We got to talk about this Orzio guy. There's something
Xiono.
You got something up with this guy.
So you know who he is. I never got you to watch this animated show because it was more for kids, but Star Wars Resistance.
No, I have not seen Resistance yet.
Yeah, so Resistance is kind of set right before The Force Awakens. It was all right. It's about kind of a pilot. They do a lot of racing, and then he gets kind of pulled into the Resistance, right? He's a Poe Dameron plants him on this fueling station. Anyways, his name is Kaz Xiono, and this dude who's causing all the fluffle, I believe, is his father. So that's a tie-in to another Filoni series. He will eventually come around, I believe, if I recall correctly, when you see holograms of him in the animation show and how Kaz speaks of him. But as of right now, yeah, he's a big pain in the ass.
Okay.
So then we pick up with Ahsoka still in the whales.
Did you think we were going to get a video transmission from Leia? I thought when he pulled out the data sheet, I thought it was going to be like a
little
hologram
we were gonna get
message.
A little Leia. Yeah. I didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah,
it would be cool, but
see it.
Yeah,
this would have been like the
CGI her.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess C-3PO was enough that you didn't have to do that. Was probably the thinking.
Yeah, fair.
So the whales come out, and before the whales come out of hyperspace, a cool scene with Ahsoka doing some kind of training, and it's old hologram clips of Anakin from when he was first training her. I love that he dropped Asajj Ventress when he was saying it's gonna be more than droids. Obviously Dooku Grievous, but I love that he said Ventress.
Yeah.
And again, Anakin just looks so just looks so good.
So good. And have you seen the cries from the internet for a series on this? We're going to talk about that at the end of young Ahsoka and
yeah. And Hayden has like absolutely nailed his original portrayal and like the little bit of blended with the like Matt Lanter's Clone Wars portrayal. He's
nailed it.
He's nailing it. Yeah, he's killing it.
Nailed it.
Yeah, loving it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's official, but I saw something on Facebook saying that one of the bigwigs has greenlit the idea of pursuing this, of like de-aging Hayden Christensen and having the girl who plays the young Ahsoka and have a mini series from that Clone Wars era. Apparently it just exploded. I also found out that the last episode they played in theaters in some states in the US.
Yeah.
So badass.
Yeah. Anakin has been quite the highlight for the show so far. They've smartly used him, the way they've set it up.
Yep. So you get some hologram of him.
Yeah, which is I was into it. I'm like, this is awesome, seeing more Hayden, and then we come out in a minefield, which I don't know if we've got, not in live action. I'm trying to think in the animated shows if we got any minefield action. But again, smart Thrawn move of setting it up to blow those whales right up out of the way. When I saw the explosions, I just expected the Chimera to be sitting there and just blasting turbo lasers, but obviously it was still filling itself up with all the Night Sister crates. So cool use of mines. I liked the chase through the debris field. Thought that was cool. Yeah. A little different.
It gave me some neat shades of like, Obi-Wan and Jango Fett. Gave me a little shades of the old, going through the asteroid field and number 4. Like, I liked it. I thought it was neat.
Yeah. Like sometimes I'm wondering, like, okay, if you hit like a little piece of bone floating in zero, like it's going to do nothing to your ship. But I guess the bigger ones would, which the one fighter hit. But no, it's cool, and I like the way they found their location with the Night Sister magic and blasted Ahsoka, got her all out of her hiding. I thought all that worked well. And how you mentioned Hu Yang had some really good lines as they were coming out of hyperspace. I was like, is the right amount of like almost comedy / like droid speak. You know what I mean? They nailed that.
Yeah. Sorry, just to quickly jump back to the hologram thing with Ahsoka. Something jumped out at me in that instance. She talks about how she walked away from Anakin, how they were on different paths, and she's always tried to hold the higher ground on that. Like she was in the right and she needed to be away from him, and no pun intended. But there's a neat admittance where, she said, he really was a great master. And, he had 20 of these recordings and Hu Yang didn't even know.
Yeah.
I think it's almost like one of those things. Like if you had a parent that was really strict and they drove you nuts as a kid, as you get older, you appreciate how strict they were as you become an adult. Maybe you have your own kids, but as a kid, maybe it was your dad, for example, and he was like super, super hard on you and it drove you nuts back then. But there's a neat point of reflection there. And Rosario Dawson, I think, does and I don't think this will be talked about enough. She does such a good job in that moment, visually reflecting on it. Like she nails this moment of the episode where there's that realization of, he was really good.
Do you think the good master line though has a little bit to do with the World Between Worlds fight with him? Like she was able to kind of,
I think it's part of it.
Yeah. To realize, because she was kind of wallowing before then that he turned evil and blah, blah, blah. But I think she's now able to let go and see the good that was there.
Yep.
So we catch up with Sabine and Ezra, and it still seems like she hasn't told him how she's gotten there yet, which is it's bothering me. There was a cool line. So he's like, the Emperor died, and then she's like, well, that's what people say. I'm like that. I'm like, that's so such good. Such a build up. Well, I know everyone hates that the Emperor returned in the Rise of Skywalker, but that line totally plays into that. Which now that we have the Rise of Skywalker, it's not going anywhere. I liked that line.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a kind of, a good little wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But yeah, so let's go right into Ezra. My biggest complaints is how they handled Ezra. I believe, I don't know his name. The actor they've chosen to portray him, I think, is doing a great job. I love the mannerisms.
He's from the new Aladdin movie.
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the way he looks. I love all that setup. But like when the odds are like crazy against him, for him not to take his lightsaber, like I was just like, I'm leaning over telling Kelsey, I'm like, okay, Ezra is like would own Shin. I'm like, he's so much above these people. I'm like, he's probably like a one or two steps down from Ahsoka, but like he's like he'll be like the guy. Like he's gonna own, like, want an opportunity to take his lightsaber back and just crush. And then for him to be like, nah, you know what, Sabine, you keep both blasters and your lightsaber. I'll use the Force.
The Force is all I need. Like, okay, bud.
Like, I appreciate I'm a true, like, that's like maybe something like Luke would do, right? Like,
yeah.
But like Ezra, I don't think he's not on that level. And like, again, it's fine. He was able to use the Force and win the day or whatever. But
he wields the Force very well.
It's cool. Like, I like that he has
really been continuing to develop himself, right? Being away.
Yeah. And I like that he could fight Shin and literally just use the Force. It kind of reminded me of Vader fighting Reva and just dodging everything and using it. Like, it's almost like when you want to show someone up, you don't even draw your saber, right? So like, I guess I kind of like that because they treated him that he was much more powerful, which you want to see.
Yeah.
But I really just, like, we talked about how last week his introduction at the end was a little weak. Just, hey, Sabine, what's up, or whatever. Like,
it took you long enough.
Yeah, you could have gave him a really like you got Ahsoka fighting Baylan for a second time. You got Sabine's fighting Shin for like a fifth time, it seems.
Yeah,
you couldn't have give Ezra a little action there.
Yeah,
and then I hate that Shin force pushed him against the hut and knocked him out too. Like that, I don't know. I really like Ezra as a character. Like, I'm a huge Rebels fan, and I just wish he got a bigger moment there.
They are definitely not doing him justice.
Well, some people have you seen it come out that some people have said that chainmail he's wearing, I don't know if it was theorized or it actually was released, are actually like the dog tags of stormtroopers. So like the thought, then I was like, okay, the thought of why Thrawn hasn't got him yet is because he sent so many men after him, and Ezra just owns them all, keeps their whatever as trophies, builds chainmail out of it, and now Thrawn stuck with a zombie army and can't risk the resource. I'm like, okay, that makes Ezra seem like he's been like quite the thorn on Thrawn's side. But then again, this episode, it doesn't portray him like that. You know what I mean?
No.
So that was my major gripe. What is Corbin say? Spent 10 years to become like, I guess he has been there for over a decade with no saber, so he could have learned how to use the Force, and he was kind of using it like almost like going to punch, but like
he uses it as a weapon for sure.
It wasn't really like a Force, it was kind of like a Force punch, Force push, you know what I mean? So
Force kung fu. Literally. You're not wrong, Corbin, at all.
I get it. He hasn't, I guess he hasn't used a saber in a decade, but I feel like
just to give him that moment of like picking up the saber down by his side, make it cinematic, it ignites for the first time. Like, you're right. There was a moment to make that so cool.
Yeah. Have him get it, own some people, and then at the end of the fight, give the saber back to Sabine, and she's like, why are you giving it back to me? He's like, well, I don't need this. It's yours.
Or strip Shin of hers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would have been even more gangster.
Yeah.
Literally just when they said hand over your saber, strip her of the saber and send her running.
Yeah. Or even like Ahsoka has two of them. Like when she comes rolling in, throw your saber to Ezra or something. Yeah, I don't know. I thought
give him the shorter one. He would have dominated.
Yeah.
Was like Troy years ago.
Yeah. Like I've been really hyped for Ezra's return, and I've been underwhelmed as again, I like the appearance, I love the job the actor's doing. I don't like how they've written it.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll change because they're going to need all of them to defeat Thrawn. So maybe he'll get his badass moments in the down the road. But it was an easy fan service they could have did there. Like, especially for people who haven't seen Rebels too, right? Like Ezra was, by the end of it, was quite the formidable opponent. You know what I mean?
100%.
I thought they could have introduced him, a little bit better.
Yep.
So another interesting thing that happened is Baylan kind of dumps Shin in this episode. He basically says, "I'm after something different. You're motivated by only one thing. Go back to basically the Imperials." Were you
I
caught
have
off guard
no
by that?
idea what he's up to, because even when he's not surprised to see her. Remember I said I don't think he wanted to kill her.
Yeah.
So, and I said that back when we streamed that episode. I'm like, I don't think he wanted to kill her, or he could have. So when she's like, "Are you surprised to see me?" He's like, "No, I kind of let you off the hook."
Yeah.
But I can't have you interfere. I still have no idea what he's up to.
Yeah, there's a million theory videos out there. The prominent ones are people think it's Abeloth, which would be the mother. So the Mortis gods, there was no mother.
Correct.
So the mother was apparently sent away to another galaxy because she was just atrocious, like a crazy.
And
one of the most
called the Abeloth,
I believe her name is. I haven't read the source wherever that came from, but I just know that she's considered one of the scariest, most powerful things in the galaxy. That she had to be sent away. So I don't know if that's the presence he's seeking. That's what lots of people like to theorize.
That'd be kind of neat. That'd be kind of badass.
Well, Filoni created the Mortis gods, right? So you got to figure he had
plans.
I don't know. Again, I don't know if Filoni sanctioned or did the Abeloth backstory. If anyone knows, by all means, let me know. Or if that was another author who picked that up and ran with it. But yeah, I don't think anyone really knows what he's given no indication. He's seeking a greater power that's going to break the cycle of Empire Rebellion. So, and
which has to be a godlike figure.
Yeah, and he's willing to give up. He's given up his apprentice, being like, "You just, you go with Thrawn, you get your glory of the return of the Empire."
Yeah.
I'm just not about that, and you're not aligned with me anymore. So yeah, it's very interesting. And even with Ahsoka, I thought he was going to be like no hard feelings, but he was just like, "You will not, essentially, you're not going to stop me from the path that I'm on."
Yeah,
and immediately drew on her, right? So,
yep. I find it interesting that Ahsoka said, "We can help you." Do you know enough about the Shin story to know what happens with her?
No. I think she was more or less saying join us, essentially.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
And that's what I think what Swole Yoda said last week. That was the one thing he doesn't want to see is Shin turn good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she had her chance and ran. So, my other gripe that I'm already kind of sick of, they did it a little bit in Rebels, and now I feel like they've done it back-to-back episodes, is Thrawn explaining a loss as a good thing.
Oh, I disagree. I loved it.
But I feel like he did that last episode, and now he's done it again, and he did it all through Rebels. Anytime he took a loss, he's like, he always immediately, the bigger picture says this, and this, and this is why I win.
See, you and I are on different pages there. I thought that was awesome because he's taking the time to educate those around him. In this case, it was Ellesmere. I love the fact that she sees this as so devastating. He's like, we just took away time. And time is the most important thing. And she references that in her fight with Baylan. It's like, I don't have time for this. She's like, I know. It's referenced during the show, so I actually really like that he does it. You and I are opposing views.
Well, no, I'm not that I don't like it. I feel like he's done it a lot now. If you go back to Rebels, it's almost every time he loses, because Thrawn's respected as such a great military mind, there's always a counter explanation. Whereas I thought this could have just been instead of really heavy-handed explaining to Morgan Elsbeth, he could have just been like, okay, Enoch, pull the troops out, the Star Destroyer is loaded, time to go. You know what I mean? Instead of this was my plan all along, I'm 3 steps ahead. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's I guess you know
what I'm trying to say?
I just think it's neat.
Yeah
I
feel like, again, it's not that I hate it, I just feel like they've gone to that well already.
Well, that's part of its character.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that that's ever going to change because that's part of who his character is, right? And the idea is that he's always quote unquote 4 steps ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yes,
like
you
you're right,
do.
Carmen, like from a strategy perspective, he just sent out a couple of his, I guess we don't know if they're zombies or not yet, or undead. But yeah, no, there was a couple big kills on those troopers and no green Night Sister magic came flying out of them. So I'm going to say they are living troopers. Their armor is just so tattered, they've had to do I can't remember the Japanese word they call it, where they fill in the cracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they've been out there for 10 years, right?
Yeah. And Stormtrooper armor sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else this episode?
No, the battle was good. The whole, just to recap, fight scene was good. I love the ship scene. Hu Yang is hilarious. Definitely struggling with how they're writing Ezra.
Yeah. There was a nice little chopper moment at the beginning where they said something about droids.
A mere droid. That chopper's gonna lose his mind.
Yeah. And I love how he's like sitting in the back as if he's like some esteemed member of the series, just chilling. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love Chopper. Can never get sick of that guy. Oh yeah. Okay. Corbin texted me this. Did I miss something? Was there baby whales in that graveyard?
I mean, well, when they originally jumped on them, there were a couple of massive ones and a bunch of smaller ones, if that's what you mean, because Hu Yang points them out.
I don't think that's what he means. I think he means like in the bones there were baby whales.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in the graveyard, in the debris field. And that is technically where they go to die, correct?
So supposed to be,
totally shock me. That's a good point. That's interesting.
I'm just scanning through the episode right now, just trying to see if I could see something. Yeah, I'll just wait till someone posts it on Twitter. I mean X. All right, good. What do you give this episode? They're sitting hiding where they were outside.
Oh,
check it out. I did see. There was like I thought it was like smoke. I did see some stuff fluttering.
I just thought they were smaller, just smaller bones. Rate the episode.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it at 8.5 because I can never. Anytime I get great saber battles, it's hard for me to not do it.
You were robbed the great saber battle, though.
I know. It could have been an up there episode. 8.5. Still loved it. Still moving at fast pace. I can keep trying to overlook the Ezra thing. Ahsoka was such a badass. The Anakin nod kind of elevated that for me. The 3PO cameo jumped it up. So I'm 8.5.
Like I said, I loved the first half of this episode. It lost me in the second half. I think I'm 8.2. 8.2. The Ezra thing really bothers me. It bothers me.
8.2 is actually the first number in my mind.
Yeah.
But I bumped it to 8.5. Corbin 8.2. Well. Yeah. You and I were of the exact same mind.
Yeah.
But anytime you get, I don't want to lose sight or take for granted when Sabine Wren is using a blaster, and we talked about it when she first did this with Shin, using a blaster, using her Beskar as armor, using a saber when needed. I don't want to lose sight of how cool that is. When you have Ahsoka jumping out of a flying ship and coordinating with Hu Yang, and she's in a saber, like I don't want to lose sight of how special that is, right?
Yeah, it was almost, now that you bring it up, it's almost kind of started to feel like a regular like Clone Wars episode where like they battle Ventress like 7 times. It's like literally Sabine's fighting Shin now for was that literally the 3rd or 4th time now?
That was
third,
three.
Yeah, 3 times already in one season. It's like, got to see her like take on someone else a little bit. I know there were stormtroopers, but yeah,
Yep.
that was Ezra's turn to completely just demo Shin, and then could have had Baylan looking on and be like, "Oh crap, I shouldn't have sent." She wasn't ready for what she was gonna, go there and see. But
yeah, it could have been a big episode with that one change.
Yeah, mostly solid stuff. A lot of cool stuff on the periphery, like the cameos, Akbar, the droids, the humor, just really kind of bombed Ezra. And hopefully they get that right going forward, because like we said, the actor's doing a good job. He just they need to give him a scene to really show his stuff.
Yep.
So I guess next week we have the finale. So
is next week the finale?
I believe so. I'm assuming we're gonna get Thrawn jumping back to the regular galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're gonna do, how Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine are gonna get back, because there's no whales there that we know of.
Nope. They've got to hop on the ship somehow.
But like, how are they gonna get Ahsoka's giant ass Jedi ship onto the Chimera? Like,
we assume it'll get on there. She may have to leave the ship, which would work well for Baylan Skoll.
Yeah, so I guess they could somehow stow away aboard. But there's no way the Great Mothers will let that happen. They seem to have all the threads being seen, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're really right.
Maybe it's going to be whatever Baylan finds is what's going to be unlock all the answers. Maybe
I can't figure out how they're getting back at this point.
Speaking of the Great Mothers, did you find it weird that they're calling Thrawn their lord?
A little strange.
I was like, I feel like, how did Thrawn get himself into a position where Night Sisters, like the highest level of Night Sisters, the OG Night Sisters, are calling him Lord?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was
it's an interesting setup of hierarchy there.
Yeah. Like we talked about last week, how they just might have a mutual thing. Like they want to go to the other galaxy and get off that planet, and Thrawn's agreed to do them. But now it's like they serve him. Is the way that's kind of set up.
Yeah, it seems that way. Oh,
I mean, can the World Between Worlds do that? I don't know.
It's the living force.
Then why didn't they send Ahsoka there? Anakin could have just sent Ahsoka there when she was already in there. First time.
Maybe the idea, Corbin, this is a good call. Maybe that's what introduces it as the way back. Maybe there's a gateway there.
Yeah.
It definitely makes me look forward to next week. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and some people speculate on this too. Just something is wrong with this galaxy and even that planet. It just seems devoid, even though there's life, but devoid of life. It just seems like it's been ravaged. So I wonder what's out there. And even Baylan just looks so, something. Because we'll have to see what Filoni drops. I'm not even going to bother speculating. I think something very different, I feel, is going to be revealed, which I think will be cool.
All right. Until next week.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Drop a comment. Let us know what you thought of this episode. Let us know if you think they're doing Ezra dirty, because
that's what I want to know.
I feel they are. And we'll see you all next week for the finale. Peace out, everyone.